Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Stefan.
We're back. No, wait a second. Wait.
Well, we are back,
Wait.
Michael. You are correct.
All right, we're not fixing that. All right, let's go ahead.
We're back on our podcast called
Animating in Threes.
We are an animation podcast where three people... we're not really animators now, are we?
This is going to be another podcast which you implore people not to recommend to their friends.
Nah.
It happened with the Pippi Longstocking one.
Okay, I'm going to start this again. We are an animation podcast where we talk about an animated movie or series from an animator's perspective. And this week, as Michael said before, we're back talking about a dinosaur story.
That's right, Ben.
Yeah.
Michael, don't just stare deathly into the microphone. It's not going to give you answers.
Also, if you stare into the microphone, it's not going to do anything. It's not a camera.
No,
We're back, a dinosaur story.
Okay, but before we get into that...
Oh, wait, I have to edit this week. Shit.
Yeah. Before we get into that, we are going to be talking about some animation news from the past 2 weeks. Isn't that exciting?
No.
Please say yes. Okay.
I guess it isn't then.
Okay, the first piece of animation news, which Stefan brought to my attention, there has been some really great test footage for the Miraculous Ladybug film that is supposedly coming out in like 2 to 3 years.
Makes no sense, to be honest, because season 3 is just nearing its close, and this movie is apparently set after season 5, which means... How long have they planned this?
Maybe they just started, like this is the very first thing they did.
Well, the test footage looks... Like, the show itself looks pretty good, but this looks phenomenal.
Like,
and
all the physics in the hair and the clothes, and like, it's a lot better animation.
yeah,
it just looks...
And it looks like an Incredibles, because it's
Yeah.
done like an interview thing, it looks like an Incredibles thing.
Yeah, I had to look at it too. I just realised that you've talked about this every week for 93 weeks, and I still have no idea what it looks like. And yeah, it does look very French.
Thanks for that input, Michael.
Okay, the next piece of animation news is that Steven Universe is not getting a 6th season. Instead, it's getting an epilogue series.
Yeah, how long is this going to last?
Isn't that a season?
No, because it's called Steven Universe Future. Not Steven Universe.
Steven Universe Future.
Yes, that's the new series, what it's
It
called.
feels like a working title that accidentally
No,
got like
they
stamped onto the...
They even showed the intro for it and everything. Here.
The intro looks great.
The next piece of animation news, there's another 3D animated trailer for Lupin the Third.
Oh no, that looks so amazing.
So Lupin the Third is an anime,
It's not the wolf anime like
Oh,
Michael originally
I
said.
saw the trailer for that.
and it's getting a 3D adaptation, and it looks really cool. Like, the animation and the rendering itself is spectacular, and it's super stylized, and yeah.
Like the original design for Lupin is very iconic in that he's got a very particular face, he's got a very particular smile and whatnot. And even in 2D animation, it's hard to capture that. So I thought when it was going to be 3D, I thought, oh, they're not going to be able to capture it. But they do it so incredibly well. Like, it reminds me of a better version of how they did that Tintin animation.
Oh, yeah.
I know Ben really likes the Tintin.
Horrifying.
I
I thought it was alright, but this is
Oh.
like a compromise where it's not going as realistic as that and still keeping to its roots
It's the
of the
problem with
cartoon.
like completely realistically texturing people who have like exaggerated proportions.
Well, we're going to be talking about it one day, because I love that film.
Terrifying.
It has a really good chase scene.
I've only seen that 1 5-second clip of an opera singer singing. I was like, she's disgusting.
What a very specific thing to see.
Oh, everyone's just got like a nose that's like half the side of their own arm.
Okay, next piece of animation news. There is a trailer for She-Ra Season 4 coming on November 5th.
Yeah, I think we already talked about that.
No.
Oh, I guess we didn't.
No.
Do we need to talk about it?
No.
Okay, good.
All right, moving on.
There's nothing much with
Thanks
it.
for coming.
It's just some action shots. Another...
Wait, this is another reoccurring segment. Ben scrolls through his phone, and you have no frame of reference for what we're looking at.
The Dragon Prince, another Netflix show, is coming out as well in November. This time, November 22nd. And have you guys seen any clips of it?
No, but I have seen the thumbnail quite a few times. Does that count?
No.
Oh, okay, then no.
I quite like it. It's created by the people who created the Avatar series. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Do they have a 3D department?
It's not the studio, it's the people who made up the show. The writers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant the studio.
No,
What
no.
studio does do the drag? Is it just Netflix's in-house?
I think it might be. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so I don't exactly know. I haven't done any research on it because we haven't talked about it on this show.
And we never will.
Maybe. It's a pretty good show.
Never will.
The first episode is a bit like you have to get into the world, but after that it's really fun. I like it. It's a fun show, and I'm happy that the third season's coming out soon.
Awesome.
How many more pieces of animation? 4 more pieces of animation news.
This is going to be longer than the We're Back section of the podcast.
The trailer for the 4th season of Rick and Morty came out.
I watched half of it, then my internet stopped, and I didn't bother watching the rest.
Look, it's all pretty samey.
It
It's
looks
just
the
Rick
same.
and Morty going on crazy adventures.
Mm-hmm.
But that's generally what people want to see, is it? I don't actually know what people want out of a season
They
4.
want Pickle Rick and Szechuan sauce, obviously.
Oh, yeah, no. Not that part of the fandom. Like, the fandom invested in the plot. Do they want to see more evil Morty? Do they want... Like, what do people
Yes,
want generally?
I would like them to do, like, arcs, like, where they do, like, oh, yeah, here's a 2 or 3 episode arc on this one adventure. Because I think, because they're doing it episodically, it kind of makes it, like, a bit samey, where, oh, they're going on an adventure, something bad happens.
Especially when you have 4 seasons of it.
Yeah. So I hope they do something a bit different this season. But yeah, they announced 5 episodes for this season, but I think that's just for this year, and then they'll do another 5 episodes for this
Unless
season
they're
next
like
year.
40-minute episodes or something.
Oh, maybe.
Have they said anything about the runtime being different?
No. All I know is... But if it is 40-minute episodes, that kind of solves my problem. Oh, it's a longer episode.
It doesn't
telling a
solve
longer
my
story.
problem in that animation doesn't usually work for 40 minutes.
I mean...
40 minutes is a weird time, especially like with... That's shown with Disenchantment. It's really hard to maintain an audience for 40 minutes.
What about the Unicorn Gundam series?
Oh yeah, but that's an OVA series and Japan's crazy.
Okay. There was another... More Netflix stuff. Netflix sponsor us. So there was a trailer for the Netflix movie called Klaus, which Michael has talked about before.
Yeah, I like it's pioneering a new type of animation where it's initially hand-drawn, but then it's given depth with simulated lighting through some kind of 3D rendering software. So yeah, I think we might talk about that in the future just because I really like the look of it, and I think we're all intrigued by the overall aesthetic.
Maybe that can be one of our Christmas
It's got
episodes.
J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus.
Yes, it does. Good on him.
Hearing him as anything is just good.
Have any of you two watched Big Mouth?
No.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, I don't think you would like it, Stefan. Anyway, that's getting a spin-off series.
Smallmouth?
No, it's called Human Resources.
That's got nothing to do with mouths at all.
The last piece of animation news is literally like an hour before we started recording this podcast, or 2 hours. A trailer for Disney Pixar's Onward came out.
I saw the poster with the legs.
Oh, there was a poster with the legs?
Yeah, there was a new poster came out.
Did you see the trailer with the legs?
Nah.
Ah.
Oh.
Anyway,
Not
stop playing
that.
with that.
Oh no.
You know, I think it looks good. I really like Chris Pratt in anything. It has Tom Holland as well.
The animation, of course, it's Pixar, so it's top tier. But what I like writing-wise that I'm finding very odd is that this is the second film, as well as Spies in Disguise, that Tom Holland plays.
Can we
the
stop
central-
mentioning Spies in Disguise every week?
No,
Never.
that he's a central character, but it's funny how he doesn't come across as the charismatic. It feels like he's usually a supporting role, and he has a bigger charismatic character with him.
Charismatic.
Charismatic, that one. Spies in Disguise, it's Will Smith. This, it's Chris Pratt.
But in his live-action roles, he's playing Spider-Man. He's going to play
Exactly.
Nathan Drake.
Isn't that odd that in
Yeah.
his live action he gets these big, like, charismatic roles, and yet in animation he gets the more sidekicky
Also,
side of...
His character design in Onward looks very similar to his character design in Spies in
Yeah,
Disguise.
it is. It's just the skinny kid with
With
the
blue.
buffy hair.
That's what he looks like. I don't like their hands. That's very specific.
He looks. He reminds
They're
me.
just blue.
Nah, they're gross hands in the poster.
I think they're fine.
They're
Nah.
just human hands, but blue.
Nah, they should be like stylized. The rest of them stylized, but the hands are just people hands.
The hands are fine.
0 out of 10. I'm not gonna go see it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then. And that is all the animation news. Have fun editing that, Michael.
He's just going to cut the whole thing out.
Exactly, yeah. It's just gonna be the opening title. It's just immediately gonna cut to the closing title.
And now Michael's going to be talking about the production of We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. Why did I pick this?
I don't know, you could have picked Avatar. It's on Netflix now. You could have
I've
picked
never
that.
seen Avatar.
And it would have been good to watch
For
it.
someone on an animation podcast, I've watched surprisingly little animation. I'm just a kid who just liked Looney Tunes when I was young.
You could have picked Looney Tunes.
Oh, we should pick Looney Tunes one day. We'll pick all those Chuck Jones. Let's just talk about the Chuck Jones specials.
No. We're talking about a dinosaur story because we watched it.
Okay, it's We're Back, a Dinosaur Story is a 1993 British-American animation film. I use the term film. Now, it was produced by Animation, which is a company owned by Steven Spielberg, which explains the Jurassic Park cameo in the film.
Yes, I want to talk about that later.
It was released on November 24th, 1993, to not great reviews. It was based on, which might, explain some of the weird idiosyncrasies with the film. It was based on a 1987 children's book of the same name, called We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
A dinosaur story book?
No, it's just called We're Back, a Dinosaur
Was
Story.
it a novel or a picture storybook?
Picture storybook for you.
Did you read it?
No.
How dare you not put enough...
It was written by Hudson Talbot and published by Crown. And it's about a
Crown
Tyrannosaurus
Casino?
Rex, named Rex, voiced by John Goodman in the book. Alright. It features the voices of John Goodman, Jay Leno, Walter Cronkite, Julia Child, and Martin Short. So it's got a kind of a stacked cast.
It does.
It's a lot of big names.
Especially for a 70-minute film.
How the hell they got Walter Cronkite in on this? This is like a distinguished media gentleman. Probably got some dirt on him. He probably killed somebody.
They even got Larry King
Yeah, they
for a cameo.
yeah.
Just
As
to
Larry
say
King.
as that he's Larry King.
Alright. So. Oh yeah, production history. For the first dot point of the production history, I've just written, look at Wiki.
Oh my goodness, my God.
Oh my god, Stefan, those are cool shoes.
Oh, thank you. They're Nightmare
Is this
Before
so
Christmas
boring
shoes.
that we were going to compliment shoes?
But they are legitimately cool shoes.
I do like your Sylvester the Cat t-shirt.
Yay.
So production began in May 1989 and was split between Universal Studios California.
Wait.
Ooh.
It started in 1989.
Yeah.
This came out in 93.
Yeah.
This was 70 minutes.
Mm.
And it was rushed.
But
That something doesn't add up here.
But I don't have an answer to that. But okay, wait. Production was split between Universal California and Amblimation in London, the UK.
I didn't know Amblin had an animation unit. That's good to know.
Yeah,
Is it still running?
it's called Amblimation.
That's
No idea if it's still running. Steven
that-
Spielberg is still alive though, so that's good.
I'm not going to lie, that's probably the only reason why they have an animation studio is just so they can make
Just so they can make
Amblimation.
We're Back sequels.
No,
They're getting Kathleen Kennedy to man the We're Back cinematic universe.
I mean, she did produce this film, so...
The WBCU.
the W. No.
I can't wait for We're Back, a Star Wars story.
I'm just imagining this film with...
Solo, a dinosaur story.
I mean, if you get Harrison Ford now, he's pretty much a dinosaur. Amazing.
He should have been the museum curator.
So, it had a 4-year production schedule, but animation only began in 1990, so the preceding year was used purely for the voiceover recordings.
But still, 3 years for this.
Yeah. Wait, are you disappointed or surprised?
I'm surprised, because I thought it was like...
Because again, it's 9 minutes long, so...
Yeah, no. But 70 minutes for... In the 90s, this isn't digital done. This is still
it's
traditional.
completely... Yeah, except a lot of background shots, which we'll get to.
Yes.
And the CG of, like, the ship and whatnot.
So, James Horner was on music.
Yes, he did Titanic, didn't he?
Probably.
No,
Michael, you're so
he's a very famous composer. He did...
It's We're Back, who gives a shit? It's We're Back, a dinosaur story.
He did the music for Titanic, and also he did the music for Aliens.
Oh, see, Ben, this is why we bring Ben here. That's why Ben is the host, Stefan. I'm just the guy that reads crumpled notes, and even I can read, and I wrote these. We spent a good 2 minutes trying to decipher what I read before we started recording.
Michael, your first note was look at Wikipedia. That's not even helpful.
I don't even know which wiki, what page to look at. Anyway, the most positive review I could find was shallow and kind of dumb.
That's not a positive review.
To someone, it might be.
Surely there is something good to be said about this film. I have many things I could say that are good
It
about
got
this film.
38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but they're tomatoes.
The budget was undisclosed.
Oh.
But from the research I could find, it absolutely bombed at the box office, taking in only 9.3 million worldwide.
Wow.
But it had a 3.7 million opening in the United States.
Wait,
So it made a third of it.
So a third of its budget was its opening. Third of its
profits.
profit was its opening. Oh, it's gross. All right, it runs for 72 minutes. Yep, that's
Yep.
it. What did you guys think of We're Back at Dinosaur Story?
is that all your notes?
It has a boring production. No, look, I couldn't find much on it, mostly because who cares? Like, who bothered to chronicle the production history of We're Back?
Michael has
Of course you can't find anything on it.
Okay, so Michael and I watched this when we were younger, right?
I loved it when I was young.
I loved it too.
Mostly
It was
because I just
amazing.
liked dinosaur stuff without question, because of Jurassic Park.
And yeah, I really liked it when I was younger. I watched it so many times. We had it on VHS.
I used to borrow it from the video store, back before DVDs ruined the entire experience for everyone.
My grandma had it on VHS, so my nonna cut that
Hey,
out.
Ben, tu guardi We're Back.
That's better.
It's better.
So, but yeah, and watching it back now, it is definitely not as scary as I thought it was.
You thought it was scary?
Towards the end, when they go to Professor
Oh,
Screw
yeah,
Eyes.
it is kind of horrifying.
Yeah, but
Oh.
I thought it was more horrifying when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Oh, you
remember
watched
the-
it before?
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid.
Why didn't you say that before? But I said Michael and I didn't know you did too.
Look, I was really too busy laughing at Michael just fumbling through his notes.
Okay. Well, do you want to tell the summary?
Well, the film goes for 72 minutes.
The summary
Oh,
of
no.
the...
What did I write? Oh, hold on. This is the refer to wiki part. Alright. So let's go through the characters.
No, just the story. What's the plot synopsis?
This episode's got to be the shortest one by a good 50 minutes, Stefan. Let's go through the characters.
And that's why I stretched out the animation news, okay?
Alright. Voice cast. So we got John Goodman as Rex, a kind Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's Renee Levant as Woog, a Triceratops who likes to eat a lot. Someone bothered to write this in the Wikipedia. Felicity Kendall as Elsa, an elegant pteranodon. Charles Fleischer as Dweeb, a dim-witted dinosaur. Parasaurolophus,
Parasaurolophus.
Kings of Mykonos.
Yeah, okay.
Orc Boy 2.
Yeah, Parasol... Yeah, okay.
It's a Parasaurolophus.
Okay.
Jay Leno as Vorb.
Who's Vorb?
I think it was a little alien at the start.
Oh my god, he's so annoying.
Joey Shea as Louis. Julia Child as Juliet Bleeb. Kenneth Mars as Professor Screw Eyes. And Larry King as himself.
Who was the professor?
And Walter Cronkite as Captain New Eyes.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
Did you say the person who played Lisa Simpson's? Did you
Yardley
say her
Smith
name?
as
Yeah.
Cecilia Nuthatch.
Yeah.
Yardley Smith is a great voice actress. It's just that she's basically perfected the one career-defining role
Yeah.
of her life, and no one can separate her from that anymore. Even though it's a fantastic voice performance.
Okay, so now the plot summary, Michael.
Well, Walter Cronkite is a benevolent professor man who got a professorship of being nice from Nice University, and he has a brother who has a different last name called Professor Screw Eyes, who has a professorship in being a dickhead from Monash Clayton. No, we got nothing against Monash Clayton.
I do.
It's good engineering school. Go there if you want to build bridges and stuff.
What else happens in the plot?
Okay, so we're up to there's a brother, a good brother, and an evil
Is it-
brother.
Okay, do you want me to continue from here? Okay, so he basically kidnaps some dinosaurs. He feeds them brain cereal. They get smart. They go to New York and they say, "Oh, you need to fulfill these kids' dreams by showing them
He
dinosaurs."
says we're going to fulfill some kids' dreams, we're going to bring love to the world, and then he completely irresponsibly just kicks them out of a moving airship.
Without telling them what parachutes are.
No, he just kicks him out over the Hudson. He's like, I hope you don't land on any children. And just immediately they land on some children.
And then
He wants to bring love and joy to the world. He kicks dinosaurs out of his steampunk airship. And the first thing they do is almost drown a child.
Yeah, but the kid's from New York. He's fine.
Yeah. No, actually, I quite like his little, like that childhood fantasy kind of contraption that he's got. That little Huckleberry Finn raft.
To me, it was very like Marty McFly in Doc's.
I don't remember Marty McFly ever taking a raft down the Hudson.
No, but do you know how like Marty McFly hangs out with Doc and Doc has all these like contraptions and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of remind me of that.
Remind me more of Huckleberry Finn.
I've never read Huckleberry Finn.
It's one of those. It's one of those like little.
Seen any adaptations?
I won't
So.
like. It's one of those like childhood fantasies, like complete independence. You know, making contraptions. You know, going in the Hudson. You know, all that kind of stuff.
I've never dreamt of going in the Hudson.
Yeah.
Does drowning count? Dreamed of that a lot.
What? Stefan, are you okay?
I think so.
You should probably watch this film because I don't think we're going to do a good job of explaining it to anybody.
Okay.
Oh, but the dinosaurs fall out of the fall into the Hudson. And then the kid's like, welcome to New York, dinosaurs. Like, that's the big city. And they're like, wow, New York. And then they go 35 meters closer to shore. And then they're like, wow, New York again? Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, the magic of the big city. And then they go to the shore. It's like, wow, look at the big city. It's like, you were just 30 meters back.
And then they have to try to get to the Natural Museum of History.
Yeah, where they can meet Ben Stiller.
Yep. But then they get caught in a parade. And then they get to the circus, where there's Professor Screw Eyes, and he says, I'm gonna take you.
I'm gonna use you for fear because now you're these kids that your friends they've signed a blood contract because that's apparently how I work things.
They can't sign anything. They're minors. We pointed this out.
Yeah, I know. Child labor laws, guys. Come
Exactly.
on.
They treat him as really evil, and yeah, he does enslave children. But if you just ignore all that for a second, what a great showman! What a fantastic display he put on.
Okay, anyways.
People are screaming!
Back to the plot summary.
Okay, so Professor Walter Cronkite gets cereal. He kidnaps dinosaurs from the past to fulfill wishes of children in the future.
We already said that,
Because he
Michael.
built a clock radio that can read children's minds, which sounds illegal.
Don't get sidetracked. Keep going.
And then he kicks the dinosaurs out of his moving airship. They almost immediately kill a child. They go to New York. They take part in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or whatever. And then the children are like, I'm going to run to the circus. And the dinosaurs are like, no, but we want to go into the museum. And then the kids are like, nah. And then they go to the circus. And Professor... not Cronkite.
Screw Eyes.
Professor... Shithead. What's his name?
Screw Eyes.
Professor Crows.
Screw Eyes.
Professor Screw Eyes is like, you can trust me, a man named Professor Screw Eyes, who hangs around in the dark and has a screw for an eye.
And he's surrounded by crows.
He's surrounded by crows because, you know, crows, screws, that whole connection there.
So, yes, Professor Screw Eyes uses the dinosaurs for fear by giving them brain drain instead of brain grain.
Brain grain, yeah, brain drain.
And then they turn evil for a bit, but then the kid hugs them and they go good again.
Yep.
That's it.
What happens at the end?
Oh, they go to the museum and bring joy to kids.
Oh, yeah, and you never see
Professor
it.
Screw Eyes disappears into crows.
Yeah, you never see it because Walter Cronkite's just like, the dinosaurs are still there to this day. We're not going to show you, though, because it's a bitch to animate. Just take my word for it. Here, have a slideshow of the epilogue.
Also, all of this is a story in between a bird asking the dinosaur what happened.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. The bookends are just like a birdie falling out of a tree and like John Goodman, the dinosaur, who's much smaller in the prologue and epilogue.
He basically says, don't run off to the circus. Here's my story, which has barely anything to do with running off to a circus.
I'm not saying run off to any circus, just don't run off to the really bad child enslavement circus we just happened to run into.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And that's the story.
we hope you got all that. Does that make any sense?
Michael, next time, maybe write down the plot summary, like me and Ben have done.
I
at
actually
times.
wrote it down for the next episode, and I'm so proud of myself.
It's a good feeling because you look at it and you go, I wrote that.
No,
It makes sense.
I want to stumble through my illegible notes. All right, my first
Wait,
note.
opening thoughts. We've got to have some opening thoughts, Michael.
Michael, what are your opening thoughts?
We made a lot of fun of it. It is pretty. It's exactly what that review said. It's kind of shallow and simple, and the animation is good, but also they can't color inside the lines for a lot of it. We always compliment mats in animation because that's the thing I always look at. and I think they were really nice in this.
Some of them were.
Some of them were very bad digital stuff, but a lot of it seemed like watercolor, which I think was really beautiful. I think it's kind of it's fluff. It's I would show this to very, very young children. I think it's the right amount of darkness for young kids that kind of Don Bluth was a big proponent of. Yeah, because I don't agree with traumatizing children, but you need a little bit of darkness, punctuating children's media.
That's why the Dark Crystal was like how it was.
Yeah, well, that's just horrifying. I don't support that at all. That's the tool of the devil.
Stefan, opening thoughts.
I liked it.
All right, Ben, opening thoughts.
Come on. No, I thought it was well animated with its gestures. I'm not saying how it's finished aesthetic look. I think the gestures themselves for the dinosaurs and how they carry weight was very, very well done.
Oh yeah, they portray size very well, which is nice. They're very good at non-traditional angled shots.
Yeah.
A lot of worm's eye view stuff, which you don't see a lot in animation. It's hard to pull off.
But it works well for dinosaurs because you need to make them look big, and especially in the roll back the clock song. What's that called?
Roll Back the Rock.
Yeah, roll back the rock.
By Little Richard at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that scene where it really makes them look big and grand is one of the highlights of the film.
They must have had like those omnidirectional character sheets, which you can use sometimes.
I don't even know if they had character sheets for this.
Because character sheets traditional, you just do like front, back, side, possibly 3/4.
They would have had character sheets, definitely.
Yeah?
But I mean omnidirectional in the sense that you don't see many character sheets with like overhead views. Because a lot of times in animation you won't need those. But yeah, it seems like they had like they experimented with angles a lot. So
they definitely.
There's a lot of 3D turn things as well, especially when the pterodactyl is flying through the air and it curves.
It reminded me of the opening to the 1990s Spider-Man cartoon when they have like the digital city with the badly animated Spider-Man swinging through it.
I think it's better than that.
It was actually criticized for its animation back when it released. But
Spider-Man or this movie?
Or both of them, but for different reasons. But we're talking about We're Back specifically because remember this came out pretty much at the height of the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah.
So, in comparison, because we see so little 2D animation now, we just have an eye for it, and we have an eye for how difficult 2D animation is because we've all done some variation of it. So we just appreciate it because it's such a far cry from the aesthetic that you see now, which is all just 3D
the
stuff.
problem, though. This film's animation is beautiful, but its finished aesthetic is not clean. It looks like rough sketches.
No, it is very rough.
But it's this is where people don't know the difference between art style and animation, because the animation is brilliant, but the motion's great. It's that finished aesthetic that looks a bit like this looks rushed.
Yeah. No, it's not as clean or refined.
But I like that. It gives it a lot of character.
Yeah, because it takes place in kind of this grimy. We always use the word grimy, but grimy like early 90s New York. So yeah, it's got to look. I like how it looks a little bit pedestrian, a little bit street level.
Last thing before I hand it to Ben, everything second act onwards in the circus I thought looked really amazing. Like I thought that's where I didn't even notice the lines because I was just captivated by all the colours and magic effects and whatnot. You're right, that guy is such a showman.
Exactly, he's fantastic. If he didn't enslave children, he'd be the best showman on earth.
You, Ben?
He has one clown.
I mean, you two have pretty much summed it up. It was I definitely really liked it as a kid. Now it is a bit too shallow to enjoy fully, but I still really enjoy it. Like again, as Stefan said, the animation by itself is really, really spectacular to look at. And like you say, like all the dinosaurs had really great weight and everything, but I also thought the humans were really well animated, especially like all the clothes that moved with their body really well.
Oh, Louis' animation is brilliant.
Louis especially, yep. And even like in that big Macy's Day Parade dance sequence with the kids dancing in the background, all those dance movements were really well animated as well, even for like all the like characters really far back as well. And yeah, so as a testament to its animation, it's really good. But yeah, it just falls a bit too shallow and too unfinished for me. Also, there's a really weird Jurassic Park advertisement in it.
Which is weird because they came out the same year, so they would have had to plan this far in advance.
We get it, Steven Spielberg. You do a lot of movies about dinosaurs.
Did you know Steven Spielberg submitted Schindler's List as his end-of-year project at university? Because he went back and did like a Masters of Film.
Okay.
Can you imagine a professor receiving Schindler's List?
That's a big...
You have to sit through all these student films and one of them's just this 2-hour epic about the Holocaust.
It's more than 2 hours.
Oh, for a 3-hour epic, whatever, yeah.
That's a big year for...
2 hours is not like an epic length of... Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big year for Steven Spielberg. I mean, there was this. That was that big.
We're back. What a big year for
To be
Steven
fair,
Spielberg.
he only produced this, but he also did Jurassic Park and Schindler's List.
I bet he looks back and just goes, "Oh, that year with We're Back."
Nailed it there.
What do you feel like the height of your career was, Mr. Spielberg? It's like, oh,
In 1993.
pulled my 93. Why? Because of Jurassic Park, Schindler's List. No, just We're Back, a dinosaur story. Just
I got to work with John
Really-
Goodman.
got to really flex my creative muscles.
We had dinosaurs, we had a circus, it had it all.
But yeah, so yeah, some really great animation stuff, as we mentioned a bit before. The Macy's Day Parade, which is like probably the biggest part of
Does
this
Warner
movie.
Brothers own all of those? Was this a Warner Brothers production? Wait, I did the notes. Who made
Universal.
this? Universal.
No, so they had Spider-Man. They had,
Yeah, Universal doesn't own Spider-Man. It was in
they
there
had
though.
Snoopy.
They had Woody Woodpecker.
Aren't they all Warner Brothers? No, Woody Woodpecker is Is that Warner Brothers? No, it can't be.
I thought it was Hanna-Barbera.
No.
Yeah, I was
But
thinking
Spider-Man is a...
during this, it was like, do they have to pay for the rights for these characters? Of all these giant balloon characters?
But Marvel was was Marvel independent in 1993?
I think so.
Yeah, so no one would own the right. And it's not like they're like discount versions of those characters.
No, these are like those characters.
No, it reminds me of how there was. I'm not sure if it's ever been substantiated, but there was a rumor that Hugh Jackman was meant to have a cameo as
In the
Wolverine
Spider-Man
in the
films,
Sam Raimi
yeah.
Spider-Man films, and it was back just the Wild West
Yeah,
of
when
like
you could do-
copyright law, when we don't own the rights to the character, but we'll just put him in there. No one will kick up a fuss.
Why
but now
didn't
it's
they?
like, sorry.
Why didn't they?
Apparently they couldn't find the costume, but the costume is just a singlet.
I think, no, back then it was the whole leather
Just
get-up.
put him in the singlet.
Yeah, or just
It's
have
fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they could, or just like the flannel
Just
shirt.
just
or
glue
whatever.
hair to the side of his face.
Yeah. Okay, but back to the Macy's Day Parade. Yeah, the animation in that is really great. They do a lot of perspective shifts as well. Like, you have this part where you have Louis and what's the...
Celestial.
Yeah, it's Lisa Simpson.
Salisa Simpson.
It's Lisa Nutcracker. I don't know. Something Nuthatch.
Louis and the girl.
Louis and the girl.
They're in the
Wow.
float in this at the top, and there's this really, really great perspective shift that goes all around slowly. And animating that would have been like taken forever, and like it's all like really like perfect. And yeah, that shot especially really surprised me.
Perspective shifts and hand-drawn animation. Very hard. But you might want to watch the film for the premiere musical number, Roll Back the Rock.
Yeah, I forgot
Thoughts?
this was in this film.
It becomes a musical for a minute and a half, and they never do another song.
I mean, John Goodman sings "Row, row, row your boat" and whatever that song was at the end.
Yeah, they give him the cereal that makes him smart, which also simultaneously teaches him nursery rhymes that won't be written for another 65 million years.
Very specific conditions of this cereal.
It's one of the side effects of the cereal. It just teaches you songs by Little Richard and...
Also, okay, let's go back to the very start.
Oh my god.
So when they first turn into dinosaurs and they all hang around
Oh yeah,
the
you
campfire.
mean the prologue when it's the Land Before Time for a bit.
Yeah, so when they're all around the campfire, Triceratops, that's a herbivore, eating hot dogs. What the hell?
Maybe the tofu.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh, I think maybe when he becomes smart, he's just like, oh, herbivores suck. Let's become omnivores.
But that's not how their
When he becomes
bodies.
smart, he just starts eating them as a statement.
That's not how their bodies work. And they fed grain to a T-Rex. That's not gonna work. They don't eat
It could
grain.
be people, we don't know.
Look, Ben, I don't think you should look into it considering most of the other dinosaurs that weren't Rex were named after their personalities. I mean, Dweeb.
Woo.
You Woo. I mean, come on. I'm going to talk about Louis because I really liked... Like, even now, I look at Louis' animation and whenever he's nervously, like, brushing up his hat or moving his hair... It's, again, those gestures are just really, really good for him. And the voice acting actually works. He's got a New York accent.
I think it flip-flops a lot. Okay, this is an issue I had with the film, is that it sounds like one of those weird European animations that was dubbed in English, and then a lot of weird cultural stuff was lost in translation.
Yeah,
Did you feel that?
I kind of get what
No.
you
Because
mean.
when I was watching it, I was like, this has to be like a weird German folktale that was like dubbed into English, and because a lot of the dialogue doesn't feel like it's inane. Like a lot of it is very strange. Like when Yardley Smith at the end is like praying for all the bad stuff to stop, and she says, "Let what is it? Like, let no bad happen?
Yeah, let no bad happen.
Like, it's just like, a lot of very strangely worded dialogue. It's very weird.
I mean, I think
John
that's
Goodman is the only one that, like, sells every line.
Yeah.
But I think everyone else, like, a lot of it's very strange, and just like, oh, you just listening to it was like, was this written for an English-speaking audience?
Well, it was. It's American British.
I know, it's an American-British co-production. So you're literally by the people that invented the language. You think they'd have a better grasp of it?
I didn't think it was that bad. And I
mean, it's for kids, and it's written simply. I'm just saying, a lot of the stuff is very strange.
You know, you say it's written simply, but when I was a kid, that first opening act where the little alien explains the entire plot, I never caught a single word of him because I was always looking at his animation flying.
Yeah.
He says everything so fast when really he says the entire plot of what's actually going on.
Did you notice that that little alien feels like feels like compelled to sell the cereal to the ravenous dinosaur that can't understand him?
Yeah, why was he trying to
He was
sell
like
it?
promoting it.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna shove it down his throat anyway.
Also, I don't think they should have included the alien in this.
Oh, he was in the book. That's one of the weird things. Like, what was the point of him? He was barely in the film.
Exactly. He just fed the grain. They could have just captured him and fed the grain.
It's one of those weird things from the book. Yeah.
And also, so you can have a comedic character besides the clown.
What about Woog?
He ate everything. That
He
was
ate
his
hot
character.
dogs. That's it. That's the only thing he ate.
Even that is an inconsistency to his dinosaur character.
I thought that was going to be Jay Leno. When I saw Jay Leno was in it, I'm like, it has to be the Triceratops. They look exactly the same.
Yeah, they do.
Wow,
Nah,
that's mean.
not him. It's a little thing.
Yeah.
Larry King, pretty good. He played Larry King though. They
On a
look,
radio.
they look alike.
You didn't see him. I really like the magic effects in the circus of Scry when he does.
Definitely.
I don't even know how they were done. They always remind me of the light effects done in Pocahontas. So I wonder if they were a similar thing where you brush it, you paint it with transparency kind of thing, and you overlay it.
Oh, the shadows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know how when he raised up his hands and it was like those ghost things around his hand?
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they were done in a similar way.
All the animation in the carnival, I mean, in the circus, is really impressive.
It is so impressive.
Also, it just attracts like people who paid to see like a scary show, but are absolutely surprised when it's horrifying.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's not even that scary. It's just people doing
know.
like really good trapeze stuff,
like-
and then it's like scrambling, just scrambling over each other trying to get to the exits. Like there's a fire.
Like the woman who was walking through, and then the two kids were in the costumes. They go rah, rah, and she goes and just runs away.
It's
as
like you
if
paid
that's-
for this show.
Also, that's not scary. That costume looks like the Tasmanian devil.
No, yeah, and it's like people in like a trapeze wearing masks, and everyone's just like throwing children out of the way to get to the door.
But the thing is, when we were kids, we thought this scene was scary. Like, I always thought this was way scarier when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I see it now and I'm like, oh, Screwball isn't exactly a very bad guy.
No,
he's
he's a good showman. It just so happens
apart
that
from his labor laws.
yeah,
He's labor laws.
Yeah, apart from his labor laws, he's a very great showman. He's like bloody P.T. Barnum.
yeah. Yeah, the
Except
for
famously
Screw
great
on.
guy, P.T. Barnum.
He was great showmanship, but he was a bad guy.
I liked
exactly.
when he was Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, no, great show. I would 100% go and see it if I wasn't aware that he was contracting children illegally.
The ends. What else in the end? Something that
And that's about it.
I also noticed was that all the characters had distinct like types of animations, like for how they would walk and how they would like act. Like it was very distinct across all the characters, and I thought that was really great. Like especially with like how dainty the girl was. Cecilia, that's her name. How dainty she was compared
Yeah,
to
she
how
always curtsied and
Yeah.
was always very like...
graceful.
What do you
like how
call
they-
it when your feet are like that? Is that pigeon walking or
I don't know.
something like that?
No,
Her
I
feet were always very close
I
together.
liked how posh and kind of dainty she
Yeah.
was.
And
And like compared to
Louis,
Louis,
who was New
all,
York.
Yeah, very New York. Yeah.
Not an animation note, but I love how the big climax of the film is Louis yelling New York isms at the dinosaur to get him to stop. He's
Get
like,
out of here, you fucking bastard! You
No.
piece of shit!
no, he's like, come on, you're original tough guy. You don't need to be tough. It's like, well, I don't even know what you're saying. You're just yelling quotes at him.
You dumb motherfucker! Get out of the road!
Actually, speaking about New York, let's talk about New York for a bit. So it wasn't that grimy.
Why?
Okay, because there was one part which made me laugh out loud, where this one guy who's reading his newspaper,
I was about to
he
say
trips
that.
over
That was
Rex's
funny,
foot,
yeah.
and he just goes, "Hey, get out of here!"
Doesn't give
and
a shit that it's a dinosaur.
and he just keeps walking off. And I thought that was hilarious.
There's another guy with a newspaper
Yes,
where he's
yeah.
on the train and there's the Parasaurolophus like running through the whole train and he just puts down his newspaper for a second to see him
then-
with just disinterested eyes and then just slowly just raises the paper back.
Yeah.
And also we had when they all realized, oh, they're not animatronics, they're actual dinosaurs. Everyone.
How did you think they were?
But the thing was, they were having a great time watching them run around and dance and sing.
Yeah, exactly.
But when they found out they're real, like, oh, let's just discount everything we just saw
Yeah.
and run away in fear.
They're real dinosaurs. How do you know? They're singing.
So yeah, I just thought that was a bit weird, but also fun.
Hmm.
Do you want to talk about the 3D stuff?
No. I do want to talk about... No.
Okay, so just before the Macy's Day Parade, we have the pterodactyl with Louie on her back, and they're swinging around in New York City, and it's very clearly 3D. Anyway, so the 3D was good at first, but then it just got progressively worse in that shot, just worse and worse. And like when they're flying, no, but like all the perspectives were good. It just looked super fake.
Look, I think because the action itself was animated really well, you could get away with that. I think the idea of the 3D was just to give it that thrill
Yeah,
light.
I mean, when I was little, I didn't notice at all whatsoever, but now it's very noticeable.
The 3D with the Jurassic Park brother, whatever his name, Walter Wooperwook, his ship.
Oh, his ship was
His
really
ship was
good.
really nice for a 3D model. And
I think
then
they rotoscoped that though.
at times they did the
Yeah.
thing where it's 3D and then when they can get away with it, they made it 2D.
Yeah.
Like when it's just it flat, they'll make it 2D. But when it's doing those curve movements, it did it 3D.
And there were some helicopters that were 3D as well.
I thought they were fine. I think it handled its assets quite well,
Yeah,
considering.
you-
Like, this is the 90s, you got to realize.
I know, but yeah, for the most part it was good. But just the second half of when they're flying through the sky was not that good.
Nah,
What did you guys think of what I think is the best atmospheric shot in the film? Which is when the crows eat Professor Crows.
I think that is a great shot. Like,
Yeah.
it is a great.
Good sound design in it as well.
Yeah.
When he's just like, oh, when I'm alone, the crows come
Actually,
will eat me.
I have something to say about this. So, throughout all that part, the audience are still there. There's still all the audience there, and he's saying, "Oh, he's all alone and has no one to."
Didn't they all
Make-
run out because the show
No,
was...
no,
The scary
when-
show was frightening?
No, they just laughed at the clown.
dinosaur, when the clown quit, all the audience was there, and they were laughing, and they were still presumably there when the dinosaurs left, and then they were still presumably there when he disappeared into nothing.
Nah, they've disappeared at that moment. It's that weird point. It's that
But
weird.
they don't show them exiting though.
No, it's that weird animation time progression where really not much time has passed, and yet these dinosaurs and the humans think they're best friends. Like, I've known you for so long. It's like it's been a day or at max. But no, we've known each other for. Remember all those adventures we went on? We went on one adventure.
Yeah. I don't think I've gone to the bathroom in the entire time I've known you.
What about the clown animation?
Oh,
Because
his
I want to
animation
talk about
was-
the crows!
oh, you want to? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Talk about the crows.
I like the crows. I just think it's really creepy. I think it's the best shot in the film.
It
Well,
is.
yeah, it is.
And and leaving his screw eye to drop as well.
Doesn't make any sense. Was his eye a screw the whole time?
Yes.
It was a screw. That's why it was called Screw Eye.
Oh, I just thought it looked like a screw.
No.
No, it was a screw.
It was actually a screw.
So he put a screw in his empty eye socket?
Why
Yes.
it was a magic screw, I don't know.
But anyway, I thought that was a nice touch to leave the screw falling and then a crow.
I think that works story-wise because when I was a kid, I actually thought that they teleported him somewhere and this was maybe going to be a sequel where he comes back and he's like a crow man or something. Whereas now I watch it and it's like, no, that's meant to show that he's dead.
Yeah.
But it's so surreal that, like, I can understand people not quite grasping, like, the logic of that scene, but the whole
Yeah.
thing kind of runs on this weird childhood logic anyway, and I really enjoyed that. It was so weird and creative and surreal. Yeah.
And
Kinda
also
like-
cemented him as evil.
yeah,
as well.
That scene is great.
Yeah, this is the...
Especially the bit when it's got that shot of the large crow that like swoops in on him, and there's that sound design of him like gasping, and then it just cuts to silence. It's really good. And he's not immediately a bad guy. They're just like, oh, can we join your circus? He's like, buzz off, kid. Like, he doesn't immediately try and kidnap them. He gives them
Yeah.
ample opportunity to go home.
No, they go back and he's like, okay, well, I
But
guess
just
you're
in
here now.
case they keep pestering him, he has a contract on hand that signs away their lives to him.
A blank contract written in mystery ink that they use
That would
in
not
Roger
hold up in
Rabbit.
court. It's like, he got me to sign a contract. One, I'm a minor. Two, the fine print appeared after I wrote it. I signed it. Anyway, final thoughts.
It was good to revisit it. It was a lot better to revisit than Pippi Longstockings, let me tell you that.
This was moderately entertaining in parts.
Yes.
And, you know, if you like animation...
And it's also shorter.
Yeah, exactly. 70 minutes, thank God.
But yeah, I had a fun time revisiting it, though it's not as good as I thought. So yeah, that makes me kind of sad.
Yep. All right. Stefan, what do you think of Professor whatever?
I enjoyed it. I really like how it used colour to do all its atmospheres. Like, you had a really dark moment, like you said. I think it's good you showed kids a bit of dark, but there was always the light-heartedness. So I think it's still a really wholesome film. A bit simpler than what I originally thought when I thought it was like the avant-garde greatest animation that was underlooked. But it still holds up as quite a fun watch, for especially if, like, little kids love dinosaurs, so
Yeah.
I think it's still fun to watch.
Good stuff. Next week, Help 'em a Fish.
No. Actually, I actually watched some of that the other week, just because I wanted to see, because I remember watching it as a kid.
I did too.
And I still think it's a good... Well, I still think parts of it look really good. And I would like to rewatch that too.
I'm gonna not next week. Next week we are watching Star Wars,
The Clone
Wars season 4.
So we'll explain that later, but go on.
But next time I do one, I think we'll do Help 'em a Fish. I just remember watching it I remember going to the theaters to see it in like 2003 or whenever it came out.
It's a Danish film.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking before, because We're Back feels like a Danish film. But no, that was a Danish film, and it's about kids who go into the sea. And I remember seeing a guy's bum underwater. Do you remember that?
No.
Remember when his brain explodes?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, good
Oh,
film.
okay.
Oh, you'll like it.
I don't know if I will.
I actually think...
Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I know
These
what
kids
you're
turn
talking
into
about.
a fish. And
Yeah,
then they
one's
have
a
to turn
jellyfish, one's a starfish.
and one's a cool fish with a hat.
Cool fish with a hat. How hats work underwater, I don't know.
Okay, so that is our final thoughts on We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, and Help I'm a Fish. So next week we are going to be watching a part of Star Wars The Clone Wars 3D animated series. So on the lead up to The Rise of Skywalker, which I am very much looking forward to, I'm going to be doing my favourite 3 arcs for Star Wars The Clone Wars. And the first one we are going to be watching, which is for next week, is the Umbara arc, or the Darkness Umbara arc, or the Carnage of Krell arc. It's
It's got a lot of names.
it's basically the names of the episodes.
Can't we just call it Purple Planet Wars?
No. A lot of people do refer to it as the Umbara arc.
Okay, Umbara.
Umbara. That's for the audience, not you, Stefan. You've already
okay.
watched it.
Oh, yeah, I have so.
So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next week.
Alan Rickman is in Help 'em a Fish.
Yes, he is. He's the villain.
Oh my god.
He dies from falling off a building.
Ah, well, spoilers for Help 'em a Fish. And Aaron Paul?
Isn't this movie set underwater? How does he fall off a building?
I'm joking. I was referencing Die
It's got a
Hard.
young Aaron. It's got a young Aaron Paul and David Bateson, the guy that does the voice of
Batesman.
Agent 47.
Look, we're
So,
talking
Ben-
about something we're not watching for another 3 weeks.
Okay.
Ben, where can you find us?
So you can find us, if you want to contact us for anything, like if you want to suggest something or tell us we suck, you can contact us on animate3pod@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and we're available at most places where you can listen to podcasts.
Tell us if you're excited about Help 'em a Fish.
Or Star Wars The Clone Wars, which is for next week, Michael.
Nah, it's all about Alan Rickman. Alright, bye!
The end. Oh, did we tell you that Adam Elliott waved at us when we were walking to that Do Go On live show?
Was he going to the Do Go On
No.
live show?
No, we were just walking to go there, and then we just hear Ben, Stefan, turn around. Adam Elliott's there in a car, just waving at us.
So the natural
That's
decision...
quite sweet. I like that.
I know.
You know, an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
But actually, that's the first time ever a celebrity has waved at anybody else. Oh, look at our brushes with fame.
You say this as you're unscrewing
As he was
the
driving
microphone.
away, did you go, oh, you're going to come on the podcast?
no.
Only, and he yelled out the window, only if you're going to talk about We're Back, a dinosaur story.